Lowe's is a very interesting case. This is not a broken retailer and it is not a classic turnaround story. It is a high-quality operator moving through a weak housing cycle, and that makes valuation especially important. If we start with the present, the stock is trading around $250 to $255, with recent quotes near 251.89, 252.50, and 254.71, depending on the exact trading day reference. The bigger point is that Lowe's is currently sitting about 13% below its 52-week high of $293.06, while still well above its 52-week low of about $206.39. So this is not a distressed stock. The market has clearly cooled from peak optimism, but it is still giving Lowe's a premium compared with a truly troubled retailer. And that fits the chart quite well. The current price is above the orange fair value line, but not far above it, and still below the more optimistic blue path. In other words, the stock does not look deeply cheap, but it also does not look wildly euphoric. It looks more like a company the market still respects, even while questioning how quickly the next leg of growth can arrive. Looking at the past, one of the biggest historical successes with Lowe's was recognizing that this business became much better operationally over time. The company improved execution, margins, and capital allocation, and investors rewarded that with a materially higher valuation than in the older years on this chart. The mistake, though, was assuming that strong execution alone could overpower any housing cycle. Lowe's is still highly connected to housing turnover, remodeling activity, and consumer willingness to spend on bigger projects. When mortgage rates rose and the lock-in effect froze housing movement, even a good operator could not fully escape that drag. Reuters and management both emphasized that this lock-in effect continues to pressure home sales and new housing activity. Now let's talk about the present fundamentals. Lowe's actually reported a solid fourth quarter for fiscal 2025. Comparable sales rose 1.3%, adjusted diluted EPS came in at $1.98, and the company said performance was helped by strength in the pro business, online, and home services. So this is not a story where the business is collapsing. Operationally, Lowe's is still executing at a good level. But the market is focused more on the future than on the quarter itself. Lowe's gave a cautious 2026 outlook. Sales of $92 to $94 billion, comparable sales flat to up 2%, and adjusted EPS of $12.25 to $12.75. That came in below Wall Street expectations, and the stock sold off after the report. The reason is simple. Investors want evidence of a stronger housing-linked recovery, but management is still describing improvement as gradual because high rates, tariff uncertainty, and uneven consumer demand remain headwinds. That brings us to the future. The bullish case is that Lowe's can still grow through this cycle by expanding further into the pro customer, integrating its acquisitions, and staying disciplined on margins until housing eventually improves. If turnover normalizes even modestly, there is meaningful upside because large deferred projects could come back. The bearish case is that Lowe's may stay stuck in a slow, low-growth environment longer than investors expect, which would limit multiple expansion. That is why today's valuation feels balanced. You are not paying a crisis price, but you are also not paying an extreme peak cycle price. So the conclusion from this chart is pretty clear. Lowe's looks like a quality company at a fair to full valuation, with future returns likely depending less on multiple expansion and more on whether the housing cycle finally becomes supportive again. The past shows management can execute well. The present shows the business is holding up. But the future will depend on whether a better macro backdrop finally gives Lowe's room to translate good execution into stronger growth. The biggest risk is housing market stagnation. Management said a persistent lock-in effect is still pressuring housing turnover and new home starts, and that improvement in housing and home improvement markets is likely to be gradual. That matters because Lowe's performs best when people move, renovate, and feel confident enough to tackle bigger projects. If turnover stays weak, demand can remain sluggish longer than investors expect. A closely related risk is weak big-ticket DIY demand. Reuters said customers are still delaying costly remodels because of high interest rates and guarded spending. Lowe's can manage around that for a while, but if consumers keep postponing kitchen, bath, and other larger projects, revenue quality becomes less favorable. Another major risk is tariffs and cost pressure. CEO Marvin Ellison specifically cited unpredictable tariffs as a challenge. Even if Lowe's is not a manufacturer, tariffs can still affect sourcing costs, consumer prices, and project demand. In a cautious spending environment, that can become a real headwind. Margins are also a watch item. Lowe's 2026 guidance excludes an expected 40 basis point hit to adjusted operating margin and about 50 cents of after-tax EPS impact from intangible amortization tied to acquisitions. The company also recognized $149 million of pre-tax acquisition-related expenses in Q4 linked to FBM and ADG. That creates opportunity long-term, but near-term it adds dilution and execution risk. Then there is pro-execution risk. Lowe's is pushing harder into the professional customer through those acquisitions, but integrating new businesses while the broader market stays soft is not easy. If the pro strategy underdelivers, investors may question whether Lowe's can close the gap with Home Depot fast enough. This is an inference supported by Lowe's acquisition spending and cautious 2026 outlook. Finally, valuation itself is a smaller but real risk. Lowe's beat Q4 estimates, but the stock fell after issuing cautious 2026 guidance. Sales of $92 to $94 billion, comparable sales of flat to up 2%, and adjusted EPS of $12.25 to $12.75. That tells you the market wants clearer recovery, not just steady execution. Lowe's 2026 risks are less about business quality, and more about whether a weak housing cycle, cautious consumers, and acquisition-related pressure delay the recovery investors want to see. Now the opportunity side. Because with Lowe's, this is no longer just a home improvement retail story. It is increasingly becoming a pro-expansion, operating discipline, and recovery story. In the short term, the biggest opportunity is the pro customer. Lowe's said fourth quarter 2025 comparable sales grew 1.3%, driven by continued strength in pro, online, and home services, along with strong holiday performance. That matters because pro customers tend to be more recurring, more project-based, and more valuable over time than discretionary DIY shoppers. A second near-term opportunity is acquisition-driven scale in pro. Lowe's completed the foundation building materials acquisition in October 2025, and management said FBM plus the earlier Artisan Design Group deal significantly enhance its pro offering and support its total home strategy. Lowe's explicitly frames this around a $250 billion total addressable market for larger pro customers. If integration goes well, that can become a meaningful growth lever over the next couple of years. Another short-term opportunity is simply recovery from a weak base. Management's 2026 outlook still assumes only flat to 2% comparable sales growth, which means expectations are not overly aggressive. If housing conditions stabilize even modestly, or if postponed projects start coming back, Lowe's may have room to outperform a conservative setup. That is especially relevant because the market reacted negatively to cautious guidance, which suggests sentiment is still restrained. There is also a digital and services angle. Lowe's credited online and home services growth in the quarter, and those channels can improve convenience, attach rates, and customer stickiness. This matters because better omni-channel execution can help Lowe's win even before the housing cycle fully turns. Longer term, the biggest opportunity is the pro transformation. For years, Lowe's has been seen as weaker than Home Depot with large professionals. If FBM and ADG help narrow that gap, Lowe's can grow its mix toward a more resilient and structurally attractive customer base. That is one of the most important strategic opportunities in the whole story. There is also a broader cyclical opportunity. U.S. housing remains constrained, many homeowners are still locked into low mortgage rates, and the housing stock continues to age. When turnover and project activity eventually normalize, Lowe's can benefit from both delayed demand and routine repair needs. This final point is an inference supported by management's repeated focus on housing weakness as the main short-term headwind. And finally, Lowe's still has the financial profile to compound through the cycle. Even with acquisition-related dilution, the company guided to $12.25 to $12.75 in adjusted EPS for 2026 and continues to rely on disciplined execution and shareholder returns. That means the upside framework is clear. Expand pro, stabilize comps, preserve margins, and let a better housing environment do the rest. Lowe's upside in 2026 is not about a sudden boom. It is about building a stronger pro platform, holding margins through a weak cycle, and being well-positioned when housing and large project demand eventually improve. Now let's look at the analyst rating picture for Lowe's. At first glance, sentiment is clearly positive overall, but not fully unanimous. We have 4 strong buy ratings, 18 buy ratings, and 13 holds, with no sell ratings and 1 strong sell. That tells us Wall Street generally likes the company, but there is still a meaningful debate about near-term upside. That makes sense because Lowe's has several things analysts usually appreciate: strong execution, disciplined margins, shareholder returns, and the long-term opportunity to grow its pro-business. But at the same time, many analysts are likely balancing that against a still weak housing backdrop, soft big-ticket demand, and the fact that the recovery may take longer than bulls hope. The high number of hold ratings is the key nuance here. It suggests that while the street respects Lowe's as a quality operator, many analysts are still waiting for stronger evidence that housing activity and larger home improvement projects are truly turning. So overall, the message is pretty balanced. Lowe's is widely viewed as a solid company with credible long-term upside, but for many analysts, the near-term setup still looks more like a gradual recovery story than a clear all-in opportunity.